So
Will do.
yeah, should be sending now hopefully, because I know we had a problem last week and it didn't like the stream. So I just want to make sure it's going out there this week before we get going. And what a lovely week in crypto it has been. Everybody enjoyed themselves this week with yeah, over at Sam Bankman-Fried's house. I bet they've had a lovely time as well. And CZ, they probably had a right party. Anybody got the conspiracy theories to hand? What's actually going on?
I'm saying nothing.
Hey, I know one thing. When Bitcoin hits the bottom, we're gonna get ready with a massive buy. That's for sure. Because well, there's not a lot of downside past about 6k. If anyone reckons it's going that far, but all the naysayers who said you'll never see 17k again, they got it wrong, didn't they? So I was sitting here watching it go down. Well, it was last Wednesday, wasn't it? That it all kicked off, and there was an awful lot of money to be made for some people last week, and still is. But we'll see how it all washes out, because that's going to be very, very interesting over the next couple of weeks, if not longer, up till Christmas. Because without being the merchant of doom and gloom, I am sure this is not the end of it, because we will see all sorts of capitulations coming. I personally, not financial advice, I personally took all of my crypto assets off of the exchanges this week. So I know I've been talking to a few people privately who've been messaging me, asking me. My my personal opinion is I wouldn't leave anything on an exchange over the next, well, until whenever we know everything's back to normal, if there is going to be another normal at this rate. Because there's all of the conspiracy theories flying around saying there's governments involved, US government being involved with FTX, possibly, all possibly and speculatively, not any factual information being given out, but Chinese government around CZ and Binance, etc. This is what we were talking about a year ago, with governments trying to wrestle control of the decentralized world. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? But when you look at what happened with Luna and now this, and you only really need to see one more big event or a black swan come in the real world, and you will see, well, you may well see a $6,000 Bitcoin. That's where I'm waiting to buy back in, and we'll see whether that is true or not. But there's not an awful lot of support past where we are at the moment. But I think we're going to see another pump, obviously, because they want to wind a few more people in and give some people confidence. But like I've been saying, I cannot see any upside in the market until, well, early spring next year, if then, and maybe later in the year. So I'd like to hear, if anybody thinks that they've got a different opinion, I would love to hear it, because I just can't see any good news in the world just yet. And everybody wants money for Christmas and the holidays, and people are pulling money out and needing money. That's the more important thing, because
Yeah.
inflation in the UK is over 10%. One of the there's a woman who does a channel that I follow, where she shops for the cheapest goods she can find. Like staple foods and bread and milk and all the sort of things that you would put on your table on a weekly basis. And she worked out that her average basket has gone up 27% in the last 3 months in the UK. So
Easily.
that sounds a little bit more than 10% inflation to me, especially when my gas and electric bill has gone from 125 quid this time last year to 830 quid at the moment in the UK. So who knows where this is going to happen, but I think it's not difficult to say we're on the edge of, if not the biggest financial recession the world has ever seen, which has to be a washout from the back end of COVID. But other conspiracy theorists may well say that an awful lot of it has been engineered to try and take over the decentralized world that is clearly gaining a lot of traction. And the governments are now going to fight over trying to get in and get the institutions in, etc. So, look, in my opinion, this is all engineered. A great deal of it is. Look at, Elon working with Binance, etc., and what they're going to try and do. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him launching a token early next year. It's not hard to say that once he launches something, that what may well be the start of a bull run. But like us, now I'm mentioning us in the same breath as Elon, but we're not minded to make any moves while the market is like it is at the moment, because we would be absolutely bonkers to try and relaunch the token where it stands at the moment, because you could relaunch next week, get a great launch, and then the entirety of the space capitulates, and you crash your project off the back of the fact that you launched at the wrong time. So we know we launched Joke version 1 at the wrong time to some respect. We're definitely not going to make that mistake again. And now that we've got a project that's worth millions, and you guys are part in the founding team of that, and will be, obviously getting, if you are holders, airdropped tokens from the relaunch. We're not going to drop you tokens that are worthless, right? And we want it to be the biggest thing that we can do and make a massive success of it, and we're teed up for that. Andy, anything you want to add to
that? No, I think all I would say is I think it sounds like that's a lot of doom and gloom from Simon. I don't necessarily think it is. I think the ones that have educated themselves, that have been careful, that have spread some of the risk, who are in it for the slightly longer term, I think everybody's still going to do really well. It's just it's on the negative flip side at the moment. But that always, the universe works with, there's two sides to everything, so it's got to come back good. Will it come back better? I think it probably will, in my humble opinion, but I think it will be very, very different. If that means more legislation, then is that a bad thing? So, I think there's always two sides to every coin. So I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I think it's just being prudent, being careful, and being in the right projects. We were talking just before on the Mods and Admins meet with Jane, and she was telling us about a project that's been rugged, and they'd not been doing the AMAs, and they'd been doing very little, and it didn't surprise that it had happened. So I think we're going to see a little bit more of that. I think I'll keep people pretty in their heads. I think hopefully you all can see that we don't, and that we do move forward. So I suppose on that note, Simon giving a bit of an update on the market there, FTX, I think we've all heard it. Twitter's been a shit show this last week with the craziness of Elon, putting it bluntly. We had some good Twitter spaces. I think we'll continue to do them. I think we're just going to wait while things calm down a little bit over the next week, 2 weeks with Uncle Elon, because you never know what he's going to do. It's been a bit of a mess with all the blue tick stuff and loads of crap coming out. So we'll just wait and see. From a wider marketing perspective, I have been busy behind the scenes. There's been some technical glitches and loads of other stuff go on. There is going to be a new look, not in terms of the logo or the feel, but just a new look for all the posters that we do. That's been finalised now, or will be in the next 48 hours. So there'll be more posters going into the clubs. There is a team of people waiting in the wings that I had conversations with, and they've been messaging me. I do apologise. Where other people are going to be helping out now across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and other stuff. So that's going to be really good, and we can get that implemented. I do need to invite a couple more people into that marketing channel that I've set up on Discord, where things will be shared. There'll be various access levels dispersed to people so they can do things on there. In terms of the clubs, I'm really pleased to say that I finally put up the posters for the Frog and Bucket in the Oasis Club in Manchester, which is great. So please go and have a look at the Manchester Club. That's got their logo on. It's all branded up now as co-branded with Joke. Just been speaking with Jessica just before this meeting. She's getting loads of posters supplied for the shows that are up and coming. We just need to finalise the date. It's just they're getting used to how we work and getting things booked in. So she's got a bundle of comedians who are putting together like an hour-long special. So that's going to be going into the clubs hopefully in probably 2 weeks' time. There will be then loads. I mean, they are running stuff literally every night at the moment, the Frog and Bucket, because there's so much in demand.
Yeah, 5 nights a week it is, yeah.
Yeah, 5 nights a week. And I'm going to let Simon talk about the Frog and Bucket in a moment's time. Next Chain Media, which is DC, who used to help out with Nifty, he's now getting 2 clubs rebranded. He did send the stuff through, but he didn't do it quite right, so I've had to get him to redo it, which he's doing tonight. He'll have 2 clubs rebranded then in the metaverse for himself. He's got loads of stuff that he wants to run as well, so that's going to be really exciting. So it's taken time, but it has been quiet. It has been an odd time, so it's probably done us a favour. There's lots going on there. There's another club being rebranded as well. So yeah, lots of really, really positive stuff with the clubs there. I am also aware that we do have the space in alt spaces, and also loads of it's being done with Spatial by Sammy. So again, I have done some stuff with that, but I have said to Jane next Thursday there will be a clear meeting about getting them finalised, getting sorted. Other people will be involved in those meetings. So we're pushing forward as a project, even though it feels like dark times, we're holding up the big light going, hey, we're pushing on, which I think is really good. There's lots of other bits and bats, it's like all the marketplace stuff that will come when we relaunch. There's so many things. We have got a meeting. We keep trying to get it booked in with our app people, but because it's specific time, getting into the diaries does prove to be quite difficult sometimes because everybody's so busy, but they are really keen. I don't know if you saw the press release, Simon, that they'd done. Brian did share it on an email. Really, really impressive. So we do need to get that meeting booked in. I've had another email today from them. And Simon, Jessica's confirmed she's there next Wednesday. And I've said that you and I have got tickets. And
awesome.
That there should be more people coming along. So do you want to tell everybody about that? Because that's really cool.
Well, we're going to have our very first physical get-together. Not me and Andy. We give ourselves cuddles occasionally. We do go and meet each other and have a coffee. But we would like, if anybody else is available, and I know the majority of people are in the US or abroad, but if there are any of you who want to come and meet us next Wednesday in Manchester at the Frog and Bucket, and there is an incredible stand-up lineup that night, including Russell Kane, who is off the scale amazing, right? But Jessica at the Frog and Bucket is pretty much laying on VIP for us as a group of people because of the partnership we're forming with them. If there any of you want to go, please let me know. It is unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, it is a charity event, so we are not able to give free tickets out. Had it not been, I'm sure Jessica would have given us some comp tickets, but I personally myself, I'm absolutely not. We were offered free tickets, but I am not comfortable having a free ticket to a charity event for a start. But it is a charity that we would like to support because it's about homelessness, etc. And we as a project moving forward should definitely be helping out, spreading joy and comedy, and it's one of the reasons that we're here. Not the main reason, but we do want to make sure that we're here to support those type of events. So anybody who wants to come, please let me know. I will give you the link to where to get a ticket. We will also arrange to all meet up. Maybe we'll have a few beers as well and make a night of it if you're able to, either meet us before or after as well. So we will put it up as an official Joke community event. I think there's 6 comedians on that night, so it'll be a cracking lineup, finishing with Russell, and Russell's one of my personal favourites. Hopefully we get to meet him, take some PR photos, and get him into the metaverse as well. So yeah, it's a really really good opportunity to come and meet people. If is there anyone in the audience who's able to come to Manchester next week? I know Dave Lee Salt is going to be asking some of the guys from the UK district in the Infiniverse if they can come along as well. So that would be really interesting to meet some of those guys and build the community. We've got some land in the UK district already. I know others have got land within Megastar City. I was in there last night looking around and seeing if there's other bits of land that we can purchase as a project. It is definitely getting busier in there. I know one of the pushbacks has been that you can only effectively have still 12 people in a shard, but that is all really, I think, set to change as the app really gets going and pushed forward this up to Christmas, because Oculus, I took one of my Oculuses over to a friend last night, took him into the comedy club, showed him around. He was like blown away, like couldn't believe it. He's never been to live stand up before, and this is fundamentally what we're trying to, where we can change the world, right? Because I was sat there thinking about where comedy is at the moment in terms of everybody loves comedy. Well, show me somebody who doesn't, right? And most people still will only ever have watched it on TV. And the next level experience where you go and actually experience it live, if you're listening to this and you're involved in this project and you've never been and seen live stand-up, please make it a mission to go and enjoy a night of something completely different to what you've probably never experienced before. I'm hoping most people in this room have experienced live comedy, but it is really, it's the interactive experience with the comedian. It's not just somebody stood on the stage telling jokes, it's the atmosphere, and we are able to reproduce that in VR. That means 95% of the world who've never gone and seen stand-up will get something new. So think of it that way. That is the way we blow this project up, is giving access to people across the globe to something that they never experience. And it's a whole different ball game compared to watching it on YouTube or TV. Andy will tell you how far he went and saw Jimmy Carr a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it, Andy? And it was
Russell Kane.
Oh, you saw Russell, but it's a friend of mine that saw Jimmy and said, you wouldn't, honestly, you cannot understand how different it is until you've been to see it. So I'd love to hear from everybody in the chat this week. If you do go and see stand up, please do. If you are able to come and meet us next week, we would love to meet you in Manchester on Wednesday evening. It may well involve some drinks, some food, obviously the comedy, and getting to know everybody. So we will be reporting back and showing everybody what's going on, and hopefully getting a lot of great PR out of it, as well as meeting Jessica and some of the comedians there. But these are people that we do want to bring and are bringing into the metaverse. It's all ready to explode. It's just, we've teed everything up. I know I started this AMA with doom and gloom in terms of the crypto market. We are one of the projects. We've made sure that we're coming out the other side of this. I think you're going to see a massive amount of the shitcoin projects get binned and disappear and not come out the other side. Again, not financial advice, but be very careful which ones you're invested in at the moment, because I have liquidated the majority of my portfolio into stablecoin, and that's really because I just can't. There's no point sitting there when you can see the edge of a cliff. I might be wrong, right? I might be wrong, right? Who knows, right? The bull run isn't starting tomorrow. I know that for a fact. Not unless Elon Musk comes out and says, "I've just bought this. I'm the major owner of Shiba," or something like that. Even then, it won't start. But it beggars belief that I can't believe that you've got, for example, I think I'm right in saying 20 something percent of all the assets held on crypto.com are Shiba Inu,
That's
which
ridiculous.
that is ridiculous.
Somebody put something about Dogecoin the other day on Facebook, and I had to pipe up going, but what use has it got? And this guy got really pissy with me, and I'm like, really, dude? Have you not got any?
Dude?
He's got no utility. What? He's got nothing. It's absolutely nothing. Apart from it losing people money at the whim of Elon Musk.
I now want to see you in real life call somebody dude. That is my life goal now. That's your mission at the Frog and Bucket next week.
No. I know when I'm going to call somebody dude. If we get to Miami, which hopefully we will be next year, we might end up meeting up with a certain chap. I don't think he's on here. But because he's not doxed, but I know if he is there, I'm going to go, hey, dude, how are you doing?
Yeah. Dropping breadcrumbs, Mr. Price, are... as people know, we don't really announce things until they're set in stone, but it is looking likely that we may well be in Miami for the 3 different events towards the end of March next year. So that's the plan as it stands. Obviously, we're trying to get speaking slots and make sure that we get in front of the right people, but all of that sort of thing will lead into a massive boost for the new token. And again, we have to make sure that the market is timed correctly. We pull this all together. The tokenomics, thank you for everybody who's made contributions into that discussion. I would like to continue that, and hopefully people understand how the revenue split will come out from the new token. So I've seen a lot of other projects that still believe that they are going to be able to charge for content to be viewed in the metaverse, and I think we're looking at I think the way forward is advertising revenue, sponsorship, and marketing to people who have opted into offers. We will see, but why would you break a model that's already been written in stone in the TV world? So. Yes, some people pay to subscribe to a lot of channels, but were the best content available for free and you were getting paid to watch it, I wonder where the entirety of the audience goes. So that's what we're looking at, and that's what the venture capital firm that we've been speaking to are excited about. So that's key to where we're going. We will be making sure that the contract bakes in revenue split directly to token holders and NFT holders. So those jungle cats that are at the floor price at the moment, I wouldn't imagine they'll be there for very long as soon as the revenue starts flowing. Has anybody got any questions while we're here? Because I know we're probably not on Discord as often as people may well like, but while you've got us, and we do have an AMA, if you've got a question to ask, either type it into the AMA live chat or by all means put your hand up. And if you want to come on stage and chat to us, I know we've got Mick Foreman in the audience. Mick, do you want to come on stage and talk about the merch opportunity? Because we've got, I don't know whether I've invited him to speak. I don't know whether he's able to. He might just be listening in.
I apologise as well because I should have booked a meeting in with Mick and I didn't. I was crap. Apologies, Mick, for not booking that in.
No, it's all good, guys. Good to hear your voices. And I just got back from the Grey Wolf Summit.
How was that?
We launched our website there. So
Any news, dude, from the summit?
Yeah, I mean, lots of good stuff. Amazing people. We call ourselves it's a crypto community, but oh my gosh, if we spent more than 2 minutes actually talking about the crypto space, that was a long time. This group is more about self mastery and knowing your own game. Like Simon and Andy, that you guys know your game, and you're playing it pretty well, you know. So that's what it was more about.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's major news going on in the crypto space right now. This is we're experiencing the clean out that we need in the crypto space, and there's only going to be a handful of projects that really survive. And Joke is aligning themselves with the key players and backing in the right way, I think. So yeah, we have a merch shop, nftmerch.pro. Try to keep it simple and recognizable. So nftmerch.pro, where you can upload your own individual NFT into your merch. So our goal is to give people an opportunity to own and show off their NFT. Because chances are, if you're walking around with a cell phone going, "Hey, look at this picture. I own this jungle cat," people are going to be like, "All right, well, look at this picture. I have a dog. Like, this is a picture of my kid." Like, it doesn't really mean too much. But you throw an NFT on a t-shirt and then go out to a business card exchange or go to a comedy club, you'll start getting some more questions.
Yeah.
And like you'll start identifying more with your NFT. It becomes part of you. So that's just kind of what we're trying to create, kind of bridging the gap between Web3 and the real world, and hopefully providing an opportunity for people to connect more with their NFT. That'll connect them with the community more, create some diamond hand holders. And that's what we're doing. nftmerch.pro. Yeah.
And we can order today. Can we order now?
It's live now. So yeah, if you wanted to jump on and upload your NFT, we are going to be working on some different templates because we know different images will look better on different products. So give us a little bit of time. I'm still recovering from jet lag and not sleeping for a while, but we can build out some good templates for just the jungle cats alone, and we can have a little section. And maybe if Simon and Andy, if you like their NFTs, maybe you can purchase it from them. You know, there's different things that we could do. Or if you have a jungle cat that's like all pink or something, and you wanted to run a fundraiser for cancer awareness, and sell 100 of your own NFTs, because you own the rights to the NFT, so you can take ownership more of it, and we can do stuff like that. So if you have any questions, hit me up, Mick Foreman, everywhere I go.
Yeah, and Mick's a good
Hey Mick, just to let you know, the site is actually unavailable at the moment. It's coming in.
Tanner might be currently working on it right now.
Yeah. I did put the link in the AMA live chat for everybody.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I do know that I was letting the techie guys do their techie stuff today. But I gave away one of my Wolf Pup NFTs on a t-shirt at the Grey Wolf Summit, and we ended up giving it to Joe Polish. And if you take 10 seconds to Google Joe Polish, you will find out how amazing of a human he is. And his goal is to create better humans. So that is a huge honor for me, knowing that my NFT is on a t-shirt in his possession, and is going to be hung up in his art gallery. So that's really cool. And we've been commissioned to create a couple t-shirts for him with his crypto punks that he has paid several hundreds of thousands of dollars for them. And I let him know, like, the t-shirt will only be about half the price of the actual NFT. He was fine with that.
Yeah,
I wish.
And then you told him that his jungle cat will be worth exactly more than that by the time we get to the end of next year.
Yeah, let's hope. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, why not? Absolutely. I know. Look, I know. I've said to people it's a bit of a hiatus at the moment. We've, you know, it's just painful just looking at it. You know, it's the whole world in recession. But the other side of that will be exactly where we want to be. And Mick is right in saying that you are looking at the washout of all those rubbish projects that had no utility, no vision, no product, and really were there just to engage people and rug them down to nothing. And it's one of the reasons that Andy and I got involved in the space was because we saw, I don't know whether there's a lot of people on here that won't know this story, that somebody approached us and wanted us to market their crypto project, and this will be going back about 2 years ago now. And he was clearly, when we found out what he was doing, just continually rugging projects. Yes, this is back when, you know, people could launch a project, do a bit of marketing, raise a couple of $300,000, let it launch on an exchange, and maybe it pumps, you know, 5 or 10x off the bat because it's some meme, and, you know, Doge this or that, or Shiba, whatever. Well, look at Floki, right? Floki is one of the worst examples because it was Elon's dog's name with a Viking helmet on it, and went how many hundreds of times up, but came to nothing. Like, well, now, but I cannot understand people that are still in things like Doge and Sheeb, and I still get messages from people saying, should I sell my Dogecoin? I had a message 2 weeks ago from somebody saying, should I sell my Dogecoin? It's pumped by 5 cents. And I went, get rid now. Well, I hope that person did, because they're probably worth, I don't follow the price of it anymore, but I should imagine it's gone down substantially in the last week, as has almost everything. There are going to be there's going to be a lot.
Sorry, I was just going to say, if everybody knows about Shiba and Doge, including your waitress and car dealer, and we were at a casino during the event, and the blackjack dealer was like, so when's Shiba Inu going to pump? That's an mental indicator. If everybody knows about it, but they know nothing about it, it's probably not great.
Yeah.
If it's available at Walmart, it probably doesn't have value.
Yeah, and this is the main problem with the space, or has been the problem. And if we get to the point where we get this final rally and a lot of it gets washed out, all of that money is being taken by the pro traders and institutions and pushed back into things like ETH. But when we get the other side of all of this, there's a whole new world where probably regulation exists and doxed wallets, but in between that there is going to be the mass adoption phase where, and this is where the whole world needs to be really careful, because we're going to get we're now moving, the number of projects that have come to me and are saying, right, we have a gateway into DeFi with standard MasterCard payment, or the ability to drop NFTs and tokens direct to wallets that are tied to email addresses, so that people don't even know they've got a wallet. They don't need to know what a wallet is. They just get dropped some sort of token or an NFT which entitles them to X. And you're going to see all these brands coming forwards, running campaigns, dropping hundreds of thousands, if not millions of NFTs across the entire piece to people, so that they go, well, what do I do with this next? And there's going to be a shed load of scams. The whole space is going to explode again off of another, that will be the next thing we see, is the mass adoption phase of crypto and DeFi. But that's where the governments are trying to get in before that happens, to have a CDBC. Who knows where this goes? And it's not happening this side of Christmas. So
yeah. And I think one thing I would say as well, and I probably say this every single AMA, so I'm sorry if I'm boring people, but as a project, we're not just a crypto project. We never have been. We're crypto, NFT, metaverse, app, and it's so much broader than that. And I think in that sense, that actually has brought us some safety. I've also said many times, we are a business, we're a proper brand. You know, we've got some equity in our name and what we do, and that's being seen. So I think the future is really bright. I think it's really rosy, because the world is only going to become more fragmented in many ways. And I think societies and people are going to look for ways to come together. And that whole experience that we can deliver, wherever it may be, in different ways, is going to add loads of value. To value to people in the reality of them enjoying something and being entertained, and value for the holders. So I think it is going to be a big win-win going forward. It's just about timing. And we have said before, probably a couple of years too early. But actually, we're not. We're ironing out our good things and bad things in a developing market. And I think we're in a great position. I really, really do.
Well, we've got...
Yeah, I wouldn't classify Joke as necessarily a crypto project or an NFT project. This is entertainment publishing, right? And we're using the different tools at hand to run the business and stuff. But I would really put us more as an entertainment company.
Yeah,
and aligning with some of the top entertainers of the industry. So
yeah, I don't think there's really a classification for what we are. I think that's one of the difficulties, because when people say to me, "Oh, what do you do, Andy?" and I chuckle and I go, "I don't know anymore." But I tell them about the project. A load of people can't get their head around it, because like, what? Hey, people can barely get their head around crypto. People can barely get their head around NFTs, mass market. So when you start talking about aligning all those things with entertaining in the metaverse and apps and everything, they're blown away. When they get it, they go, "Wow, right, okay, that's amazing." But it's not everyday parlance what we're talking about here. It's very new still.
I'm just reading a tweet that Elon's put out today, which he's replying to someone who says BTC will make it, but it might be a long winter. I'm like, it's really helping. You know what I mean? You get them people. What about ETH, Elon? Because he gives a shit about you. Really, honestly, this man has got. He'll have an awful lot of questions to answer. When I'll be very surprised if he isn't pulled up on it eventually, because he just moves the market with one tweet. It's ridiculous. So, yeah. And it's, well, we all know the Doge story, because that's frankly criminal, what he did on Saturday Night Live. And if you haven't watched that episode of Saturday Night Live, go back and imagine you hold 100,000 Dogecoin at the very start of the episode and decide when you would have sold, because that man is playing games with the entire world at the moment. But there's got to be something deeper behind it, and don't tell me he doesn't know what's going on with CZ and all of this, the rest of it that's going on in the back. This Twitter move is something to do with this as well.
Hey, Simon, there is a question from Traveling Tom Daly that actually somebody else had posted last week that we didn't get to, was if we can publish an official list of the benefits for the VIP club.
Yes, it has been published before, but we will republish it. The main benefit is that people are going to get another jungle cat. They are also going to get into our VIP group, where they will get our crypto advice, tips, and proximity to us, in terms of they'll also get advanced notice of other things that are going on before the main community. So
we might be able to tell people a little bit more about that in a couple of weeks, Simon, as well.
Well, there will definitely be. I got asked a question today by Jane in the admins meeting. I'm not going to repeat what the question was, but I think she'll know, and I don't want her to say what it is, but that question that got asked, the answer to that question will become very obvious in a couple of weeks' time, which will, one, bring us a lot more attention, but it will, two, provide something in terms of value to our VIP members. So we're not limiting it at 50 people. We're not quite at 50 yet, but once we get that first 50 done, we will then make sure that those people are looked after. But yeah, we will publish the list of benefits. But it's putting. We want to put people right front and center, able to be able to make the most out of what's coming, and do not underestimate the amount of opportunity to make generational wealth that is about to happen in the next year for everybody. So proximity to this project and the people that we have been lucky enough to associate ourselves with and build our networks with over the last year. Look at the people that Mick Foreman's now hanging out with, global recognized coaches and leaders, and a lot more than that. And the people in the Wolf Den, I don't spend as much time in there as I probably should, but there are institutional level investors in there that are talking about putting $2 to $3 billion into crypto in 2023, right? Obviously, they're not going to tell you when, but when you're talking to people that control that sort of amount of money, I spoke to a fund manager last year about Joke, and we're still in contact, and that guy controls over $100 million worth of investment for his personal clients, right? He wants people to get into crypto, but when they're looking to people like us to just tell them when, why, where, which tokens, which projects, and to time the bottom, because anybody who times, there's literally going to be projects that are blue chip projects for pence or cents, right, on the dollar, and it will be the easiest wins that anyone will ever make in this next bull run, and it will be obvious when it's going, and you don't have to time the bottom, right? So the bottom is not now. We may well see, and this is completely my personal opinion, right, and not to be relied on by anyone, but I've been saying this since May this year, that it's going down and it's going a lot further. Every time it dips like this, you think, right, is this the bottom? And that's the game they're playing with everybody's mind, right? And until that bottom is confirmed and the corner is turned and it's shown that clearly Bitcoin is moving into the 28 to 30k range, you don't need to get involved, right? Otherwise you are gambling, and there's going to be it's not hard to, it is hard, right? Because it's mentally tough. The number of times I've sat here and gone, should I buy some Bitcoin now? I'm not dollar cost averaging in at the moment because I don't believe we're anywhere near the bottom. And last time I said that, when it went down to 17k last time, everyone laughed, and you see all the people on Facebook, the thousands and thousands of them going, you that didn't buy at 17, you're mad, when, you missed the bottom, we'll never see that again. Well, guess where we are now, people, right? And yes, it's going to pump, right? But don't, please, we can show you, we will show you what to do, so there is very little risk and the biggest upside that everybody, that nobody's ever seen in this next bull run, right, when it happens. But that means that if you stick with us, and we're not saying we're geniuses in this, right? We're not. We've learned an awful lot, and we're as close as we can be to an awful lot of the really big projects, and we've got a lot of information that we take in on a daily basis around the markets. And Andy and I trade the markets daily now, and and follow Bitcoin and ETH very, very closely in terms of trading it as well. But the people that get into that VIP group, you're going to get some education that, well, Andy and I sat here and worked out what it's worth, and it's worth at least $5,000 a month, right? Just to be in that group. From what we've paid, we've been in other groups where we've paid substantial amounts. There are people in our circle that are still paying tens of thousands of dollars to be in groups where they are getting the information that really matters. And that is what is going to trickle down into the people that stick with us, are part of that VIP group. And look, people that we trust and are doxed and are friends, right, that will help us. So it's really important over the next 2 or 3 months, whatever that looks like. We'll still be here, we'll still be building, and we'll be ready as soon as we press that button. And it's and the people that are in that group will hear first and be very close to that information. So, I genuinely hope that we're sat here this time next year with a whole bunch of millionaires. Why wouldn't we be? Andy, anything you want to add to that?
I'm just thinking, how do I follow that? Yeah, there's just a lot of things behind the scenes going on, and I think more will become clear as we go forward. I think the other thing I would add is that I think as a community we are really, really good. I know Dranko says it, and he's not just blowing smoke out of our arses. I think we've got a really good little community here. It's not the biggest in the world, but it's really solid, and there's some really good stuff and some really good people. And I think you look at some of those projects, many of those projects that get rugged that are just nonsense. The communities actually, they don't really care about each other. They're just all there to make a quick buck. And I always say, I think the ones that do well, the projects that will do well, are the ones that have got some real long-term value where people feel like they're getting something. And it's not just about money, they're getting something else out of this as well. And I think that'll get stronger with the joke community. I think there'll be more people helped in different ways. I think there'll be more laughter, there'll be more money made. And I think it's a longer term thing, but I just think we've got a great community. We've met some amazing people, and Simon and I have always said, those people that help us, we will put them right, absolutely. And I hope that we all do make tons of money out of it and have a really, really good laugh along the way, because that's the whole point of it. We want to enjoy making the money as opposed to not enjoy it, which I think is a big difference for us as a project.
Well, I know we discussed it last week a little bit, but it made me laugh when people are starting to projects are trying to duck and dive to prove that they're not a security. And I said in the AMA, I said something along the lines of, well, if you can show me anybody that's in any of these projects who doesn't expect to make money from it, then good luck, because we are all here to profit and to make a return from being invested as a supporter of a business, right? If you're a speculative investor and gambler, then you're in all the meme coins and shit coins, and if you're very good, you can make a lot of money from it by day trading it. But if, for example, if you'd sold Bitcoin last week on one of the MT5, like on MetaTrader, and you sold it when it was at 22,000 and it went down to 16, that is 60,000 pips. And if you'd had $1 bet on it, that's $60,000 you would have made without ever having to hold a Bitcoin, right? And that's the sort of thing that we're going to teach you inside that VIP group, because when equally it applies when, and Andy, and it'll take some people, it's difficult to get your head around what I'm about to say, but if Bitcoin goes down below $10,000, I think we all realise, or we would all predict, that it's going back up over 50 at some point. That is 400,000 pips. Now, if you can place a bet at the right time, 400,000 pips is a lot of money. depending on how big a bet you're prepared to take. But I invited Dranko up on stage. I don't know whether he's available to talk. I presume so, seeing as he accepted the invitation. I just wanted to see how your project's going.
Well, we thought about rugging the project for a minute, but I think we're going to stick around for a while. Joking. We have sold about 900 units or so. A very successful pre-sale. I think Joke community was one of the larger communities that took advantage of the BOGO deal. We sent out about 400 units or so, maybe over 400. And we are paused and then launching the token in about 10 days.
Cool.
So is there still opportunity to get in on the token, or is that chance still there for people?
Yeah, so we are full, but there's a couple of people who are holding a half ETH, which is a max bag, and I think they're willing to kind of spread out the wealth. So if there are people interested, we can just reach out and see if they're willing to. I think right now we have an opening for like 0.3 or maybe 0.2. But yeah, I think there's room. People are just trying to spread out the love, and the more spread out we can get for the foundation, I think the better the start we have.
Yeah, I've had some great feedback. People are loving the community, and I'm sure it's going to be cracking once it really starts rocking. Once you've got, you're past that launch and you've got all those opportunities coming. So it's going to be very cool, dude. That's 2-0 to me, Andy.
Yeah, very funny.
Yeah.
We always host a fun space almost on a daily basis. I think we've had tremendous success because we haven't spent $1 yet, which is really cool to think about. First time we've ever done that. And we're just about to ship some money out today to start marketing. So that's when the fun will begin.
Can I just get your view on Twitter?
Yeah.
What do you think's going on this week? Because I've seen a couple of things that you posted. I'm sure it was you.
What are you referring to as far as like
the chaos?
I mean, there's chaos every day, everywhere. I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to, but I think everybody needs to dive 10 times harder into Twitter, because right now, like, that's the smallest social platform as far as like users and activity. But I think as mass adoption happens with crypto, that platform is going to grow, and if you have an audience, then you're going to be able to do so much more than those who are just coming in.
And talking mass adoption, are you getting the feel that it's coming quickly, or is it,
Oh, no.
No?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Not with everything that just happened with FTX. Not at all. I was actually talking about Joke for quite a bit today on our space, talking about the new model that you guys are going for with the token, and just thinking about it a little bit further. And I'm like, I hope that you guys, I don't know the time frame, but I hope you guys take your time, because I think you're that like 0.1% of a project that has an opportunity to land some like ad revenue and pay your users a lucrative amount. I just see so much opportunity. That's why I stay sticking around, and I was excited from the rip to work with you guys.
And what about the cascading effect from FTX? Do you see? Have you heard anything? Are you worried about what else is coming? Because they apparently they were invested in shed loads of funds, and it was supporting. It's the fallout hasn't really happened yet, has it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's been very minimal movement to the prices, and I think when people lose $8 billion, pricing is not going to stay the same. I don't think that it hasn't hit people. If they had it on an exchange and it's gone, they're probably still clinging on to a little bit of hope, but that money is gone, and eventually people are going to need to liquidate. We're talking $8 billion, so it's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty brutal. But once it really hit.
Isn't there or it's a fact that they were washing the wallets out through the Bahamas on the day, or something like
Oh,
that.
there's so much dirty business. I have no clue what was really going on. There was some talks about a hacker and somebody was preventing, but to me, it's all dirty money. And then the partnership with Alameda or whatever, they were selling the tokens as they were getting launched on the exchange. I mean, it's just dirtiness every avenue, and I don't think it has hit the markets just yet at all.
No, and that's probably my main worry is in the next 2 or 3 weeks we do see the washout of where this ends up. It's who knows where it ends up, and but none of it's going to be good or pretty.
I would say if you do have money on an exchange, get it off ASAP. I would say Binance and Coinbase are probably the safest, but again, they are still an exchange, centralized exchange, which means the same thing that happened with FTX can happen to your money. I know you guys have done AMAs with Jane about setting up cold wallets. Move your money over ASAP. There's a huge risk to crypto.com. So if you have money on crypto.com, move it today, like right now. They were moving money over like $230 million to prove that they have reserves. It's all a scam. There's a lot of dirty business going on.
$230 million in crypto.com is like me getting a fiver out of my pocket. It's not, that's nothing compared to what they'll have backed or lent or invested elsewhere. That's billions. I don't know what.
Well, what they were doing, or maybe it was 230 billion. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was billions. It's probably accurate. But what they were doing was using some other reserves, and I'm sure Visual Dope knows this better than I do. But they were shifting money from one exchange to another, kind of being friends with each other to show reserves. But that money is not there, and that's exactly what just happened with FTX.
And
that's like two banks sharing the money.
Exactly.
Liquidity. That's well dodged.
The money is not there. So if you have funds on crypto.com, I would definitely spread the word because it is a very convenient, of course, crypto.com, beautiful domain, very convenient platform. Money clears quickly, but it seems that's the next target. So I would move your money right now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's happening. I don't even think it's a question. I think it's most definitely happening. The only hope is that CZ with Binance is trying to save the industry and play the good guy, and he did just set up a fund to basically save exchanges. I don't know if he's going to help out or not, but if I have money I don't have money on there, but if I did, I would move it right at this second.
But where's safest though? I know in cold storage, but in what? ETH or BTC or stablecoin or what? What do you think?
That's
the hard part, right?
I think the safest is Bitcoin because ETH is getting very centralized. BNB, it's difficult to get, especially in the States. Stable coins, USDT could get unpegged at any second. There's so much chaos going on. The one thing that I know will be here forever is Bitcoin, even though it's the most boring. But right now, I think people are getting to the point where they're like, I just don't want to lose all my money.
So do you see any of the stables getting depegged then through this?
Probably Tether. Visual Dope has his hand up. He's a genius when it comes to all of this.
Let's get him on stage.
He can really protect. I want to say that we protected some money this last week because of just him staying in tune with all these developments. We were watching it live.
Yeah, you mentioned CZ. First off, you mentioned CZ as a potential savior of the space. I don't buy that for 1 second. Naturally, the way it went down with FTX and FTX having their own native token FTT, CZ, I mean, it was the most coordinated takedown I've seen in a long, long time. CZ had big allocations of FTT token, and once he saw cracks in FTX's balance sheet, he just made them eat that token, sold it off, which crunched their liquidity, and rightly so, because obviously they're in some dodgy business practices. I think as a whole, the whole damn system is just over levered right now. To Draco's point, crypto.com is flashing 300,000 Ethereum over to various other exchanges in order to get past the reserve audits. We saw FTX doing what they do with taking consumers' money and giving it over to Alameda for investments. I read this morning Alameda has probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 million creditors that's going to have to either bite the bullet or get liquidated at a much lower pennies on the dollar. I don't. It's we're all living in this hope and dream of a decentralized economy and financial system. And the last week and a half, 2 weeks, it's been shown to be almost anything but. Um, Naturally, there's still good actors in this space. There's still good people that are, the rotten apple spoils the whole bunch, and perception is reality. So I think that we've been set back, over these last few weeks, probably a couple of years when it comes to mass adoption, whatever you want to call that. So it's very, very interesting times. I do like Bitcoin long term because of the decentralization, although it is very, very boring. That I would look at that as more like a bond slash treasury market, which could go up really, really well. But yeah, it's crazy to see where we've been, and what we've been fed as fact, and a lot of it's just smoke and mirrors when it comes to shuffling money around by the big dogs in the space.
So where are you saying is safer than anywhere? Just Bitcoin, or would you be moving out of stable into Bitcoin, or is that not quite yet? That's the hard question.
I mean, obviously stable. The concern is, how illiquid is the market? A USDT going to depeg, or could it potentially? And obviously, the potential is there. I was really, really concerned when I was watching the liquidations and all that shit that was going on with FTX. You see these huge amounts of stable coins just flowing around the system, and I mean, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars in stable coin just in that alone. If that decides to dump on the market, it's going to depeg. If not long term, short term. I think the lowest I saw last week or the week before was Tether got down to 0.97 before the algo kicked in, before it arbitraged it. So I think, I'm not one to make hasty decisions when it comes to financial decisions. I think that obviously Bitcoin and ETH, as far as tokens in and of themselves and not stables, are pretty solid, especially long term if that's the horizon that you have. I also think that USDC, if you're trying to keep some reserve cash in order to take an opportunity in another dip, which I believe is still coming due to macro conditions globally, then that's where you would want to be, is in like a USDC. So that's my 2 cents on where to be. And then find compelling stories with tech. We were having a space, I think yesterday, where we're talking about how crypto is a different market, in that not only do you have to understand a bit about trading and a bit about technicals, and because the fundamentals are really, really complicated. There's a lot of tech that's going to determine the long-term value. So you got to do your due diligence on that as well. So find compelling projects, tokens, chains that are building something that you think would be long-term sustainable. I think that by and large, we've seen the biggest dip that we're going to see from early this year to date. But there will be some short-term blips and hiccups in the system, I think, as well. But if you're in something that you think is a long-term play, whether it be ETH, Bitcoin, I'm a big fan of Algorand blockchain and what they're doing over there, even though they're just now becoming EVM compatible. I see that they're able to do transactions relatively fast, and I see it being a platform where a lot of financial institutions take part in when they do come online, just because of the nature of it, fast finality on transactions and low cost of doing those transactions. So I think that's the two keys to kind of sum it all up is obviously the big ones, ETH, Bitcoin, and USDC, or another stable if you can tolerate the small risk that it would depeg. But if it does, holy shit, that would be very, very bad for the market. And then look for compelling tech to invest in long term.
Yeah, cool. No, we really do appreciate you guys coming on and taking the time. Everyone here, you should go and check out the Steezy project. And if you do want to get in, obviously this will be the last opportunity before it goes to the moon, I'd imagine. So, not financial advice, obviously, but, when we're starting to get to talk to these people, this level of people and this level of advice, this is the tip of the iceberg in terms of, the opportunity that we sit on the edge of a knife going forwards. And it will be generational wealth for people next year when this washouts happen. So interesting times ahead. I'm just spotting there's a question in AMA live chat. I'm just going to make sure that gets covered off. If you don't have a hard wallet, is it safe to keep your coins and tokens in a wallet like Trust Wallet or MetaMask? Yes, I would say, I keep all of mine on MetaMask, but obviously make sure you've got a hard wallet, ideally like Trezor. That's what I use. There's plenty of videos out there. Probably a good time to invest in one if you're holding a decent bag. But yeah, make sure you've got it off the exchange and you've got it into something that you're comfortable with. So again, not financial advice, just stay safe. I think that's where we're at. We don't look. Nobody needs to panic. You'll see it coming if there's going to be a problem. But yeah, interesting times. Andy?
Hey Simon, there's another question from Tom about. It says, when will the VIPs be included in your investing group? Is that a separate group, or is all that gonna take place within the JJC VIP group?
So there will be a separate channel that people will get invited to, and the timescale on that is in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Andy, do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, exciting times. I think it's easy to be, as I said earlier, see the negatives and be scared. But actually, I think at times like this, when great change is happening, I think the phrase that people are scared of change, don't be. Where you embrace the change and you can start to understand the change and be part of communities where we can educate on the change and we can all learn, means that change is a benefit to us if we know how to use it. So I think it's really, really exciting times. I don't see it as scary. I just think it's a massive, massive, massive opportunity to make a real difference. So I would close it by saying onwards, slightly downwards, and then massively upwards. And thank you, everybody.
Onwards, dude.
Yeah, onwards, dudes. You're not going to let that lie now, are you?
Oh, no. You'll be at your yoga class saying, all right, dude. Yeah. No, but look, let's just, we'll wrap it up with the fact that, look, if anyone wants to come meet us in Manchester next week on Wednesday, come to the comedy club with us. There's going to be incredible comedians on. You get to come and meet us for a start as well, and maybe we'll even buy you a beer. So, let's leave it at that. Thanks for everybody coming. We will be keeping everybody updated, and we will be back here next week with another AMA. So thanks for coming, everybody, and we really do appreciate you all.